Recognized for 3 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, when we talk, the gentleman from Massachusetts mentioned the fact that over the last few years we'd gotten ourselves into the ditch. This shows the ditch that we're actually in. In 1993, we passed a budget that dug ourselves out of a ditch, created surpluses as far as I could see. In fact, in 2001, when we came into session, we had a surplus sufficient to put us on track to paying off the entire national debt held by the public by last year. Instead, we had a complete collapse of the budget beginning in 2001, and no telling where this line is going to end up. It took us 8 years to get into this ditch. During the good years when we had fiscal responsibility, not only were we on the way to paying off the national debt, we created record numbers of jobs. We had a median income increase of about $7,000 per family. The Dow Jones Industrial Average more than tripled. And now we have a situation where we had the worst job performance since the Great Depression. Median income actually down when adjusted for inflation. The Dow Jones Industrial Average worse than it was when it started. It took us 8 years to get into this ditch. In this budget, we have an urgent situation. This budget will cut the deficit in half in 4 years. Now, that is not the end of it. That's not enough. Cutting the deficit in half is not enough. But for 1 year's work, that's certainly a good step getting us out of a ditch that took 8 years to get us into. Now, we have a situation where the new budget will restore pay-go. That is, any new program will have to be paid for. The reason we could get it in this kind of ditch was we passed tax cuts that weren't paid for, we had spending that wasn't paid for, but under this budget, any new initiative we have to be paid for, and that's going to be hard. We're talking about energy initiatives. We're talking about healthcare initiatives and education initiatives. It will be very expensive, but none of them can go into effect unless they're paid for with other spending cuts or with tax increases. Everything will be paid for. This is in stark contrast to what happened in 2001, where we just we didn't pay for anything, we went right in the ditch, we didn't create any jobs, and it is urgent that we pass this budget to get back on the track that we're in 1993, where the budget created jobs, median income up, economy was good, and we're on the way to paying off the national debt, instead of the ditch we're in today, where we have, in the last 8 years, the worst job performance since the Great Depression, huge deficits as far as the eye can see, and we're taking a major step in the right direction. So, Madam Speaker, I would hope that we would adopt the budget so we could get on the job of restoring the economy and balancing the budget. Now, yield back the balance of my time.
Gentleman yields back his time. The gentleman from California.